Hello, my name is Jiso, and I'm reading Master Dōgen's Shōbōgenzō. And we have reached chapter 33, Kannon, Avalokiteśvara. Kannon is the Japanese pronunciation of the Chinese name of the bodhisattva called Avalokiteśvara in Sanskrit. Avalokiteśvara is described in the Lotus Sutra as someone who always comes to this world to save a man or woman who cries for help. Kannon literally means regarder of sounds, and this expresses the character of Avalokiteśvara, who always responds to the cries for help of living beings in this world. Thus, Avalokiteśvara is usually thought of as a symbol of compassion. But Master Dōgen understood Avalokiteśvara as a symbol of a life force that is more fundamental to living beings than compassion. So in this chapter he explained the true meaning of Avalokiteśvara, quoting a famous conversation about Avalokiteśvara between Master Ungan Donjo and Master Dogo Enchi. So let's get into it. First of all, I'm just going to get my blankie, because it's cold this morning. Oh, that's nice. All right then. Great Master Ungan Muju asks Great Master Shuitsu of Dōgozan Mountain, what does the Bodhisattva of great compassion do by using his limitlessly abundant hands and eyes? Dogo says, he is like a person in the night reaching back with a hand to grope for a pillow. Ungan says, I understand. Dogo says, how do you understand? Ungan says, the whole body is hands and eyes. Dogo says, your words are nicely spoken. At the same time, your expression of the truth is just 80 or 90% of realization. Ungan says, I'm just like this. How about you, brother? Dogo says, the thoroughly realized body is hands and eyes. Many voices expressing the truth of Kannon have been heard before and since, but none has been equal to Ungan and Dogo. If you want to learn Kannon in experience, we should investigate the present words of Ungan and Dogo. The Bodhisattva of great compassion described now is the Bodhisattva regarder of the sounds of the world. He is also called the Bodhisattva free in reflection. He is studied as the father and mother of all Buddhas. Do not learn that he is a lesser expression of the truth than the Buddhas. He is the past Tathagata clarifier of the right Dharma. Then let us take up and investigate the words spoken by Ungan. What does the Bodhisattva of great compassion do by using his limitlessly abundant hands and eyes? There are lineages that maintain and rely upon Kannon, and there are lineages that have never dreamt of Kannon. Kannon is present in Ungan, who has been experiencing it together with Dogo. And not only one or two Kannons, but hundreds and thousands of Kannons are experiencing the same state as Ungan. Kannon is really allowed to be Kannon only in the order of Ungan. Why? The difference between the Kannon expressed by Ungan and the Kannon expressed by other Buddhas is the difference between being able to express the truth and not being able to express the truth. The Kannon expressed by other Buddhas is only 12 faces. Ungan is not like that. The Kannon expressed by other Buddhas is merely 1,000 hands and eyes. Ungan is not like that. The Kannon expressed by other Buddhas is just 84,000 hands and eyes. Dōgen is not like that. How can we recognize that this is so? Because when Dōgen says, the Bodhisattva of great compassion is using his limitlessly abundant hands and eyes. The words limitlessly abundant do not mean 84,000 hands and eyes. How much less could they describe only kinds numbered as 12 or 32 or 33? Limitlessly abundant means countless. It is an expression of infinite abundance, of diversity without restriction. Given that the diversity is originally unrestricted, we should not limit it even with a measure of limitlessness. We should learn in practice the arithmetic of using limitless abundance. It is already beyond the bounds of countless and limitlessness. Countlessness and limitlessness. Countlessness and limitlessness. Now, when the words of Dōgen take up the words limitlessly abundant hands and eyes, Dōgen never says that the words express nothing, and there may be import in this. Dōgen and Dogo, since becoming fellow students under Yakuzan, have already practiced together for 40 years, in which time they have discussed stories of the past and present, weeding out the false and verifying the true. Because they have been continuing like this, today, in speaking of limitlessly abundant hands and eyes, Dōgen speaks and Dogo verifies. Remember, limitlessly abundant hands and eyes have been expressed equally by the two eternal Buddhas. Limitlessly abundant hands and eyes clearly are a state that Dōgen and Dogo are experiencing together. Now Dōgen is asking Dogo, the use does what? We should not liken this question to questions asked by teachers of sutras and teachers of commentaries, or by bodhisattvas at the 10 sacred stages or the 3 clever stages. This question has manifested an assertion. It has manifested hands and eyes. While Dōgen now says, using limitlessly abundant hands and eyes does what? There may be old Buddhas and new Buddhas who are realizing Buddha by virtue of his effort. We might equally have said, utilizing limitlessly abundant hands and eyes does what? And there might equally have been expressions of doing something or moving something or expressing something. Dogo says he is like a person in the night reaching back with a hand to grope for a pillow. This means that the bodhisattva is like, for example, a person in the night who reaches back with a hand and gropes for a pillow. To grope for means to search around for. In the night is an expression of the darkness. It is like speaking of seeing the mountains in the light of day. The use of hands and eyes is like a person in the night reaching back with a hand to grope for a pillow. On this basis, we should learn the use of hands and eyes. We should examine the difference between nighttime as it is supposed in the light of day and the nighttime as it is in the night. In sum, we should examine it as that time which is not day or night. When people grope for a pillow, though we do not comprehend that this behavior is just like Kannon using hands and eyes, we cannot escape the truth that it is like that. Is the person in the words like a person only a word or a metaphor? Only a word in a metaphor, sorry. Or is this person being a normal person, no ordinary person? If studied as a normal person in Buddhism, the person is not only metaphorical, in which case there is something to be learned in the groping for a pillow. Even pillows have certain shapes and grades that deserve inquiry. The nighttime, too, is not necessarily only the nighttime of the day and night of human beings and gods. Remember, What is now being discussed is neither grasping the pillow, nor pulling in the pillow, nor pushing away the pillow. Dōgen is speaking of reaching back with a hand in the night to grope for a pillow. And if we are to examine the state that Dōgen is expressing, we should notice, we should not disregard, that eyes realize the night. A hand that is groping for a pillow has not yet touched the edge of the pillow. If reaching back with the hands is essential, it is essential to reach back with the eyes. Is it essential to reach back with the eyes? We should clarify the night time. Might it be called the world of hands and eyes? Does it have a person's hands and eyes? Is it simply hands and eyes alone, flashing by like a thunderbolt? Is it one instance or two instances of hands and eyes which are right from beginning to end? When we closely examine principles like this, the use of limitlessly abundant hands and eyes is present, but still, just who is the Bodhisattva of great compassion? It is as if all that can be heard is the Bodhisattva of hands and eyes. In that case, we might ask, what does the Bodhisattva of hands and eyes do by using his limitlessly abundant Bodhisattvas of great compassion? Remember, hands and eyes do not hinder each other. At the same time, their use doing what is the ineffable functioning and is the use of the ineffable. When the ineffable expresses the truth, we should not expect it to be able to express the whole of hands and eyes, although the whole of hands and eyes has never been hidden as the whole of hands and eyes. Unhidden hands and eyes exist at that concrete place, and unhidden hands and eyes exist at this concrete place. But they are not the self. They are not the mountains and the oceans. They are not the face of the sun and the face of the moon, and they are not the mind here and now as Buddha. Good stuff. We'll continue with this tomorrow. Thank you for listening. Take care.